No surprise, very impressed with Utah. They play the game the right way, very skilled, very seasoned, very tough-minded, very well coached. I thought our kids competed, but at the end of the day, sometimes basketball is really simple, and it's a make shot, miss shot game. And they made some tough ones. We couldn't make anything, and it's tough to win at this level when you're playing with 2.5 offensive players. And we've got to figure that out somehow, some way. Don't know if we can, but we're going to try. But the effort's there. We haven't seen the results that we need, and hopefully we can figure that out.
Kind of hinted at there, but how much do you need a third or a fourth person to step up outside of, Adi and Emily?
I don't know if I can quantify it enough. We got 10 points out of the rest of the team. And with Emily Ryan only getting to play so many minutes, you're really hurting. And Addie didn't have a great night tonight offensively. So that's without question the number. There's a lot of things that we have to figure out or get better. But you can't play in this league, or any league probably, and have 10 points from the rest of your team. We can talk about defense all we want, and that's part of it. But yeah, I mean, we're trying everyone, trying different combinations. But there's nothing we can do about it except work harder, coach better, figure out a new system, something. Because this isn't. I don't think it's going to change a whole lot with how people guard and how they're going to guard Audie and the physicality and the double team. So we got to figure something out.
With what you did last year from beyond the arc, and then just what you added, does the three-point shooting surprise you?
Yeah, I'm shocked. I mean, I don't really know any other way to put it. If you look at their numbers, and because of the way teams are playing us with the double teams, I don't know that you can get more open than they are. But that's basketball, and I think today it's not that simple at times, but sometimes it is. When they had an open shot, they made it a lot, and when we had an open shot, we didn't. And you can guard all you want, you can do a lot of great things, but the number one thing we talked about as a staff and as a team was we couldn't get beat badly on the three-point line, and we got killed. And there's not enough ways to overcome that. And so we'll because you have to shoot it because when you're open and when the double teams come, you have to continue to shoot the ball. And I wish I had a great answer besides you look at every kid's history, and their numbers are pretty good. Right now, we're not very good.
Defensively today, what do you feel like led to some of the good looks from three Utah was getting at the start of the game and at the end of the game?
At the start of the game, we were not guarding 21 on the three-point line. Kids made 8 all year, made 20 in their life. So we weren't going to go out there. We needed some help. And when you play a good team, and that's not what Audie can do anyway. She doesn't really guard in space. So for her, that was, they made 5 threes from their post players that have made 27 in their life. So you live with that. The other ones, a couple of them were defensive errors in transition. The one they made in the fourth quarter, they just ran a simple ball screen, and we've been switching it all day. We didn't. And again, they kick it, and great players make that shot, and that's what they did. So I would say half of them were my fault because we weren't really guarding their post players out there, and probably half of them were mistakes, either offensively or defensively, that led to open looks.
And then I think back to Tank in the opener and Sydney Harris against UConn. You've had some big offensive nights from some of those bench players. Do you feel like you've seen enough from players like that where you can get them into a consistent scorer at some point this season?
I would say we should be able to, but we haven't. Like I said, yeah, they've had some games where they've made some shots, but the consistency has not been there. And we just, like I said, so now you're trying to say who's your better defender, who gives you something better if they're not making shots. And so we tried basically everyone today, and Sid struggled defensively, so we went in a different direction. I thought Tank's defense was really good, but she's 1 for 5. AJ guards really hard, but is struggling to make shots. So that's the uniqueness of basketball is, I always think it's funny when they talk about players are two-way players. Well, that's what you're supposed to be. It's basketball. And right now we don't have enough of those guys that, but it's not like they've never done it, and you just keep hoping the moment. The problem right now is they're all in a collective slump at the same time. It's one thing to have, this one had an off week, or it's just we're all in that boat, and then we kind of force some things, and Audie has 5 turnovers, and so everything kind of feeds off of itself. So we just gotta, there's no simple answer. You just got to keep grinding and working and find ways to make things better.
Bill, after, I'd imagine when they started 7 of 7 from the field, and you talked about Toure hitting her first couple, you're thinking not another one of these probably, but then you recover defensively. I think they go through a 4 for 19 stretch. You're right back in the game. You mentioned effort earlier. Is that one positive you're taking? This, the fight continues to come throughout the game, even as the shots aren't falling.
Oh yeah, I have zero issue with the effort of our team. I really do, and it's the outside noise of critiquing the game is fine. That doesn't bother me one bit. Our job is to figure out ways to get our kids to compete, and I think they compete. They really do. They practiced well yesterday. They take ownership in what they're doing, but we've got to. I always tell them there's everything in life is you work really, really hard, and you got to work smart too. And it's not always about just the effort. There's got to be a collective commitment to doing things. And it's a group that's connected. They try. They're working at it. But at the end of the day, we've got to figure out ways to make that effort translate into something more positive than it has been in some of our games.
Does it feel like you're in a position where a lot of these players, you're trying every combination, that at some point it's going to explode? Maybe you go on the road, tough road stretch down in the Southwest. I don't know, that you're going to have one of those games where they go 13 or 26 from 3. Maybe you have another one of those games and the ball starts rolling your way.
Yeah, obviously, hope is not a strategy, obviously, but that's and again, I keep going back to, what Tommy asked is, it's not like they've never done it before. We have kids whose field goal percentage is so low, and you look at what they've done in their past, and it's like you wouldn't even think it's the same person. So that's what we keep grinding through, and hopefully we can do that, because it's not going to get it. What we're going to see defensively is not different. Audie's going to get double teamed like she did tonight, and you got to get the ball to her at the right time, and she can't dribble and just go score. Or when you kick it, you got to make people pay for kicking it, and that's where we've not been able to do it on a consistent basis. Thank you, everyone. Appreciate your time.